want, we can learn from it right now.
Exactly. Thank you very much. And I know that the presentation will come soon, but I start now. I'm here representing the Open Science Learning Gate. And my colleague Nicolas Wilder was not able to join the conference, so I collected his knowledge on the technical components of AI tools, and I'm representing the Gate knowledge, and try to provide you the best overview. Gate aims to understand what is open science, what is open science in general, and we believe that we have to have a continuous knowledge exchange, a continuous dialogue on what is open science, because the world is changing, research is changing, and we also have to have a dialogue what is it to integrate AI tools into our research processes. So this continuous knowledge exchange is very important. And what I will talk about today is what the Gate actually does in the context of open science and AI. And I will give you an overview of the community's knowledge, how the current open science community addresses this interplay between open science and AI within their materials, within their capacities. And we also can derive some conclusions from the data that we have collected, and maybe we will find some gaps and some challenges that we would have to address for the next data collection year. And I'm happy to be here in this symposium with Eileen and Katarina. I need it a little bit larger, thank you very much. Thank you. Because the Gate presentation fits very well into this symposium. I think all of us, we share a common ground, and the shift is a little bit from the question whether to deploy AI in research in a world of open science, but more to the question how to deploy AI responsibly in research. So that it's a supportive tool, an assisting tool, and this is important to stress. Nobody aims to replace somebody or something, but we acknowledge that AI is a supportive tool. And this shift in the question from whether to how happens because science evolves. Science is interacting with many different contexts, and so the technologies evolve, and the research processes evolve, and the methodologies especially. So we have to look at both sides of the coin. We understand that AI can be helpful in a research process. It can help us in replicability topics, which is more Eileen's presentation. It can automate processes. It can identify patterns in our data. So it's helpful, but of course there are also challenges when we're integrating AI into research. Topics such as what will happen with myopically accessible data when AI tools are processing them, topics of hallucinations, black box, lack of transparency, you know it all. But for example, in the topic of black box, I argue that it's also our responsibility as researchers to also try to understand at least a part of what is happening. Could you switch them? Yeah, perfect. The question is not whether, but how responsibly, and the question is about humans' integrity. What do we want if we're deploying AI in research? And therefore, Gate is well placed in this symposium. Eileen, who shares a practical application of a possible AI tool, and Katarina, who also has the legal perspective on topics such as compliance, openness, and responsible conduct of research as a foundation. And GATE, in the middle, sheds light on actually what are the fundamentals of open science at the intersection with AI. What are our demands when we are doing research in times of AI? What are the guiding thoughts that we have to have covered in our research processes? And to answer this question, we have developed the Open Science Learning Gate, the so-called GATE, and we call it the living digest, linking knowledge on open science, because GATE is here to understand open science. And the verb understand is very important for me to stress, because we have definitions on what is open science, based on responsible conduct of research. But do we know everything with our definitions from last year or 3 years ago? Things evolve, as I said. Do we know about the needs of those who practice research? Do we know about their challenges, their working realities within their institutions? So we can predefine, for example, FAIR principles, but is it working without also providing the necessary infrastructures, for example? Or what means responsibility when we work with AI? And therefore the GATE follows a bottom-up approach. We're asking the community, what is open science from your perspective? And what did you include, which knowledge did you include into your capacities, into your open science informing or educational materials? We then structure this knowledge, this is the GATE in the middle, and we feed it back to you, to the community, to the practicing community, to the educating community, so that all of us are informed, and we are doing this mirroring back via annual GATE reports. So GATE is here to enable a continuous knowledge exchange within the open science community. And one part of our interest is the intersection of open science with AI. So we specifically ask experts, educators, authors of papers, presentations and so on, whether they already conceptualize AI in their open science materials. And if yes, which guiding thoughts they emphasize at this intersection, how they understand these guiding thoughts, and how they implement open science within their communities or within their institutions. And because this is an ongoing process, as I said, research evolves. GATE will inform about the state of open science of today and also of tomorrow. So we will also see the development within the annual GATE reports. You, the community, can read annual GATE reports, so you're informed and you can act accordingly. You can, for example, optimize your educational capacities, or if you are a data infrastructure provider, you might upscale your systems because you know what is going on in the practice. Yes, and we believe that we really need this dialogue on open science and AI and research in order to incorporate this knowledge that we're collecting with GATE into the capacities. Okay, a little faster. Okay. So everybody who creates capacities is invited to interact with the GATE. There are 2 different QR codes, but this presentation will be also online later. One QR code is for the so-called GATE service, which is a questionnaire, and you can implement there your know-how if you already developed any open science capacities. And the right one is for workshops that we're conducting within institutions and communities in order to define or create some solutions in order to implement open science. But I think I heard somebody saying, not a questionnaire later, I have to give Marie the know-how now. So in this invite you to scan this QR code, which will lead you to a Slido poll. And during my talk, you are invited to give us your knowledge on what are your guiding thoughts on open science at the intersection with AI. So why is this continuous dialogue on open science and AI very important? We all agree that responsible conduct of research and open science are guided by acknowledged principles. We call them guiding thoughts, such as transparency, openness, reproducibility, and so on. And in this RCR head, there are our principles, but then AI emerged in research. And with this, new or different guiding thoughts have become more significant. For example, topics such as licensing, the quality of data. We're talking about data protection, data security. The topic of traceability, explainability is very important in AI. Factual accuracy. Or also topics such as, is the data ready for being processed by AI tools? Therefore, this continuous knowledge exchange is very important. And now on this slide, the title is If AI and Open Science is a Contradiction. On the first moment, yes, because these are two distinct logics. They are not designed for each other. Gen AI tools process openly available data, scientific data, which will be fragmented and recombined with other data, with other tokens via probabilistic modeling of token sequences. So AI needs a quantity of data, whereas responsible conduct of research in open science needs quality in research. So it's not a question whether AI can be part of open science, but how open science guiding thoughts can guide the use of AI towards responsible conduct of research. And GATE is therefore here to ask on the right which AI and open science guiding thoughts are already visible in current materials, and where are the gaps? And this is why the GATE is so helpful, and I really want to invite you to interact with GATE. You will find all the information on the homepage and also this presentation. So GATE systematically collects this community-based knowledge on how AI is addressed in the open science framework, but also what is open science in general. And many of these experts are sitting here today, so this is why I would like to invite you to engage in this dialogue. So as I said, we collected data for the year 2025, and I would like to show you some outcomes of this data collection. So regarding a quantitative overview, we see that we were able to collect more data on what open science is in general, the gray ones, than what open science is in the context with AI. And on the left side, we see the outcome of our GATE service, which is a questionnaire collecting these guiding thoughts and individual understandings. And we see that 28 experts contributed, and this is just a subgroup of bigger data collection, because we want to focus on this subgroup that proved that they already addressed AI in their materials. So it were 28 experts, and they provided on what is open science in general. And out of these, 11 are addressing AI in their materials. And from this sample, 7 provided a DOI to their material. Yeah? So what does it mean? It means that although these participants work in open science, they do hardly address AI in research. And it's upon us if we want to change it. You know? So if we think we have to increase the number of capacities addressing the interplay between open science and AI, we have to do the work, create these capacities, and then intersect it within their institutions. And also here we say that AI is less addressed out of 26 strategies to advance open science. 6 refer to an AI-supported solution. And of course, this is not surprising because it's a new issue in research. Great. But it's important to know that we do not have enough capacities and that this interface is underrepresented. And it could also possibly inspire us in order to create new capacities and to advance the solutions. So if we zoom into these 6 implementation strategies, there is another interesting thing that we found. We can, for example, see that the blue ones, data management, has been very often addressed in these solutions. So it seems to be an important topic today. And when we discuss with the practicing community on how to implement open science, they seem to stress data management. And 5 out of 6 times, AI seems to be a supportive tool in order to advance it. So for example, participants said that AI can be leveraged in order to capture additional information in data, or AI tools can be used for secure data management and metadata generation. And there are also nice parallels to Katharina and Eileen's topics. For example, they mentioned that AI tools can be used for reproducibility checks, which you also confirmed with your projects. Or Katharina, AI can make unpublished data GDPR compliant while maintaining responsible use. If you go back to our data collection, to our tools trends, you can have a look on the left side, which is a quantitative overview of the AI open science guiding thoughts that have been mentioned. And we also see some trends for 2025, for example, participants focused on reliability, transparency, and factual accuracy, the first ones, whereas preventing data amalgamation or data protection have not been selected, or interpretability. And in the context of open science and AI, it's very important to dive deeper into these topics. So if we say, be careful, what about research security? So we also have to focus on data management and maybe the question how to deal with data. So maybe this is an important gap that we have to address in the future. Or another example, if you are an infrastructure provider and you think that data protection is an important topic, we need more capacities on that. Well, is this an outcome? I agree, it's a small sample size, it's not representative, but it is, as I said, a very specific sample of a wider community, a smaller sample who already addresses AI within their capacities. And on the other hand, it is also an outcome because this is what people today learn about open science. If they want to learn about how to deal with AI in research, they would probably come across these materials and learn what is described there. So again, the invitation to change it and to increase the number of capacities describing this important interplay. If you want to have a very short qualitative overview, there is an example of Natalie Myers. She describes, there are just 2 of her guiding thoughts that I have selected, and she says, for example, sharing the model should become an essential part of guaranteeing reliability, and so are the understandings that we're collecting with the GATE. So if we have a look on our agenda, on the left side, which is the agenda from the beginning, I conclude that a continuous dialogue on this intersection of open science and AI is very important to keep up with the developments in research. I also conclude that the open science community is already addressing this topic, but not sufficiently. And in order to ensure future with AI in research, we need to reflect on guiding thoughts. We want to stress and increase the capacity building on this topic. So these are the findings. Again, I want to stress the continuous dialogue and invite you to go to GATE and interact with it. I think the QR code is missing, but I hope that you already have the slide QR code and that you were able to implement some of your guiding thoughts that you would like to communicate to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie. So now we are